There she rides, the BCS. It's a small walk behind powerhouse. BCSs are really popular in small scale farming. They're less intimidating when you don't have a farming background. They're way less intimidating than dealing with tractors, buying tractors, having to get them home, dealing with issues with tractors, learning how to fix tractors, or paying someone else a lot of money to fix them. But even though they are less intimidating, that doesn't mean they're not dangerous. As I know with first-hand experience with that very machine that I showed you out there at our last farm in western North Carolina before we made it up to the promised land of the North Country. I was foolishly using my BCS right after I had bought it, using the brush cutter on some very sloped mountainous land in the southern Appalachians. And I tipped over with the BCS, and I went to shut it off while it was sideways in all of this invasive miscanthus grass. And I reached in to shut it off, and it blew up in my face, setting me on fire and also setting the hillside on fire. My first thought when I was on fire and I was watching the flames burn quickly uphill, my first thought was, oh man, that's gonna be so embarrassing having to call the fire department, and they're just gonna look at me like I'm so stupid. So shame and embarrassment was my first thought while being on fire. So after they came and put me out and put the fire out, most of them were pretty nice, but had to have my wife drive me into town, and got on a morphine drip, and just remember sitting there hitting the morphine button, having nurses' aides picking all the burned flesh off my arms, and just thinking I'm like the pig at a whole hog pig picking barbecue, and they're picking me. And I was living in a shed at the time on the property, so I had to heal with bandages, putting silver ointment on it a few times a day, and re-bandaging myself without running water. I think we did have electricity at that point, but needless to say, I was foolish. I was acting recklessly, and also, since I'm one of the many Americans that doesn't have health insurance, I had to pay for it and deal with the corrupt for-profit healthcare system, and nickel and diming with them to pay it off. So I have history with my BCS. I didn't give up after that. I just learned how to use it safer and was more careful. So I'm still using that same machine that's right there, tilling up this carrot bed here.